Bitcoin is close to becoming worthless.
Let's go. Now, what's the Bitcoin?
Bitcoin's like rat poison.
Yeah. Oh,
The greatest scam in history.
let's get it.
Bitcoin will go to fucking zero.
Yeah.
Alright, you ungovernable misfits. I'm your host, Max. Everybody knows that Bitcoin is useless, worthless, and doomed to fail. But what if everyone's wrong? What if it's the system that is doomed to fail? Join me as I speak to some of the brightest people in the space and slither to the deepest, darkest depths of the Bitcoin rabbit hole.
Welcome back, everyone. Today's episode is from block 7 of 21ism. We have just released a new block. We're now at block 8, but this was well worth putting out there. This was our code feature. Rodolfo and me and Bitcoin Q&A had the pleasure of sitting down to hear about all the updates and everything coming down the pipeline. Really enjoyed this conversation, and as always, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out. For anyone who hasn't already checked it out, Block 8 is live, and I sat down with Paul Atoy. We talked about Sphinx, we talked about Bitcoin, we talked about all sorts on there. So 21ism.com for the new block. Thank you to both my sponsors. I've got CoinFloor UK. For anyone who's looking to stack sats in the UK, if you are dollar cost averaging, you're buying weekly or monthly, if you use the code in my show notes, you will get 30% discount on any of your stacking. Just remember, if you do take the time and you can use something like Bisq or HODL, it's going to save a lot of issues in the future potentially. But if you are going to use a KYC exchange, then make sure that you use a good one. And CoinFloor UK have been around for a long time. CryptoCloaks.com are my other sponsor, and I'm really enjoying what these guys are putting out. Again, these guys have been a feature before for their design, and I absolutely love what they're doing. They have got such a cool team. They're Bitcoin only, and if you haven't checked it out already, you need to go to the website CryptoCloaks.com. You will not be disappointed. Enjoy the show. Hello, mate. I'm sorry I sent GMT and fucked the whole thing up as usual. I confused things there.
No worries, dude. It's all good.
Cool. Welcome, and thanks for being in this block. I have been waiting to get you in. We actually wrote a while ago, and I was trying to get you in for design block because of the block clock, and then I was like, right, I just need to have you in, and it's going to have to be code this time. So it's 21ism, block 7 for code, and we're just going to be celebrating everything that you guys are doing. The block clock, the Coldcard, open dimes, anything that's coming in the future. Talk some Bitcoin, have some drinks, and have some fun.
Sounds good, man. I'm in.
Awesome. How have you been? It's been a while since we last spoke. You had said to me, you're going to, once I get my cold cards, you're going to love them. And I said, okay, I trust you. And you were right. I absolutely fucking love them. They're awesome. What's been happening with you since we last spoke?
Oh, man. Aside from the corona hysteria here, we've been busy, man. We're building a lot of stuff and pushing out features for Coldcard and all the stuff. So essentially, we've been keeping busy.
You always are. Me and Bitcoin Q&A, before you jumped on, we're just talking about that. Actually, we're saying like the features within just the Coldcard, you know, you keep bringing out more features and there's so much stuff in there that I don't know half of it. I don't know half of the stuff that's in there. I've been watching through your videos that are on YouTube and just like trying to get to grips with it, but it's so feature rich. Do you ever stop thinking about these new ideas and what you can do with it? Or is it just a constant? You're just always thinking and making.
Oh, absolutely not, man. It's like, we have like no joke about 500 issues open on GitHub of shit we want to do just for Coldcard. Just for Coldcard. That's not even like the OpenDime, the versions of OpenDime we want to do, and like the block clock stuff we want to do, and like the next other 10 products we want to make. It's just like I don't know. It's like we're in a weird sort of position where there's all this stuff we want to make. It's gonna have to be made, but we also don't want to grow the business too much and have too many people and all of that stuff, because then sort of like it becomes not fun anymore, right?
Do you find that a lot of the features that have been incorporated into the Coldcard have been sort of community driven, either requests or as a result from a bug fix, maybe?
No. So we take user feedback seriously, right? In regards to like sort of like problems people have that we can solve, that kind of stuff, right? But in regards to like actual features, it really is us driven. It's like, I want to do this in my life today. Can we do it? No. Okay, let's build it. You know what I mean? It's like, I want my Coldcard to have a countdown feature because I don't want to be in that position. And then we make it. I want to have a countdown that bricks the device. We make it, right? It's just that like, and we also have like custom home alarm systems that we also built for ourselves. So like we're like just like constantly on this like state of mind of like adversarial sort of like, what can we do that is not theater that makes our lives safer, right?
Home invasions thing are you building?
Well, I mean, it's built. Like, I mean, we have some cool stuff, but it's just not products. It's not for sale because, like, we don't know how we would make that into a product yet. But we have interesting stuff that way too. We even looked into how to connect like Coldcards to the security system of the house. So there's a lot of stuff going on. It's just like not everything we can make into products, or not everything we can bring into the market just because of, it's like you can't make it economical enough that people pay for it, or you can't explain it, or it's too complicated, or it's just too like convoluted to manufacture, that kind of stuff, right?
Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head a little bit there with I've heard quite a few builders and founders say exactly the same thing as yourself, and in the fact that they build the product for them, and that tends to bring out and create sort of the best products in the space. Obviously Coldcard being one of them. There's a couple of Coldcard features that some of which I will hold my hands up and say I'm not fully au fait with, and there's a couple that I think that I love that are quite understood or underused that I was hoping that you'd be able to sort of flesh out a little bit for us. The first one being CK Bunker. Would you be able to sort of touch on what CK Bunker is and what some of the use cases would be for it?
Yeah. So many years ago, when we got into Bitcoin, we built the first Bitcoin hardware security modules, right, to run Coinkite.com, which had the payment terminals, the debit cards, it was essentially like BitGo before BitGo, right? So we built this like $20,000 computers that were ultra secure to do Bitcoin operations hot, right? And we actually even tried to sell a few of those, but like the market wasn't quite there yet and whatever. So, that service no longer existed. But there's been a lot of people who wanted to have hotkeys that were not on a computer. So it's like a substantially more secure setup that could talk to other computers, could talk to an API, or it could be a bunker sort of like cold cosign service where like their employees could go and cosign transactions, right? Essentially like a more small business enterprisey kind of solution, right? Based on a Coldcard. So we built a glue for that, and that's what we call CK Bunker. There is actually a couple of interesting larger businesses out there that many Bitcoiners use who do have CK bunkers as their cosigned HSMs in their enterprise, which is kind of fun.
Okay, so what are some of the more common use cases that you've seen people implementing this?
So yeah, so the main one is, say you're running a Bitcoin brokerage, right, where you sell BTC. You can't let your employees authorize transactions, right? Like, not gonna happen. You can pay for, say, BitGo, or you can pay $100,000 for like HSMs, or you can have your own cosign sort of backend, right? Your own sort of like custom wallet, whatever that does. But you don't trust your servers, right, to do all this stuff. So what you do is you have your servers either directly talk to CK Bunker, that then gets a Coldcard to sign or not sign based on a policy, like maximum 1 Bitcoin per hour, maximum whatever, only Tuesdays, or whatever it is your policy, right? Or you need an employee to go put a pin to verify that that transaction is okay. We support like a million combinations on how you want to do your policies. Or you could even have it so it's like completely like air gapped, but it gives essentially a computer UI to that Coldcard, where an employee could go and co-sign a transaction for the server, right? So the employee can only co-sign; they cannot even create transactions, right? So just like anybody who's in enterprise signing authority thing would probably understand all this mumbo jumbo that I sort of explained.
So it's basically like a cold card that you can lock down for some predetermined spending rules or conditions, so that you don't really need to trust anybody other than the parameters that you kind of preset.
Yeah, it could even be remote. I mean, like, you could roll your own casa and have this in a different country running.
That's pretty cool. Did I see that MyNode implemented this as well recently?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's free.
Nice. Okay, cool. All right. The next one was BIP85, which is a bit of a favorite of mine. Would you be able to touch on that one for us?
Yeah, I'm actually surprised that like we're the only people who implemented BIP85 of pretty much any project out there. It is such a good BIP. So BIP85 does is it allows you to generate seeds from an original seed. The same way you generate addresses, you just deterministically generate seeds. So, for example, phone wallets, right? Nobody should put real money on a phone wallet. But it's one more fucking backup you have to make, right, in metal. So it's like one more seed for you to back up. So why not have your hardware wallet that you already trusted real money generate a seed for you that you can use on that phone wallet, but you don't have to worry about backup. So it's like, and then like scale that, right? Like you can have that for your like Lightning node wallets, for all your phone wallets, for your web wallets, for whatever you're using. You can generate all those seeds without having to worry about backups. And even if that Coldcard dies, you can just recover the original seed in a Coldcard, or there is one script online for it, where you can generate those seeds again.
Just to break that down for me as the non-technical one in the room, are you saying that you can create as many seeds as you want from that device, which you can then use on any other device that is compatible? Are you basically saying that if I wanted to have a phone wallet, I could create the seed on my Coldcard that's air-gapped, and then I could transfer that across and use that on a phone wallet? Or have I got that wrong?
Yeah, no, that's it. Yeah.
That's fucking cool. Stop it,
Rodolfo.
Stop making this stuff. It's too good.
It's like it's just surprising to me that like there is absolutely no innovation in this space. Like even our cloners, I mean, like they didn't really like make anything. They just like like, oh, here's the code. Like let's just do the same features. Like the people are not creating new features. There's just so much stuff to invent out there.
And so where do you do this inventing? You said you've got all of these things open. You keep thinking of these ideas. You're making it for yourself. Do you have like a certain time of day or a certain thing that you're doing, like going for a walk and you suddenly think of all these ideas? Or what's happening in your head where you come up with these things? Is it you're working on something and you think, oh, that'd be fucking cool? Or is there a certain thing in your routine that just is the time when you get these ideas?
It's all over the place. And it's like, and it's not just me, right? I mean, like, it's like we have other people in the company, but most of the time it's like me and Peter on the phone, just talking. I thought of this. Is this retarded? Is this awesome? Okay, let's sort of break it down, right? Like, and we come up with the ideas, and then we just sort of write them down, because in the firmware it's going to end up being him implementing, anyways.
Is that a fun process? Like,
Oh, yeah.
do the two of you talk? Like, for me, again, as a non-technical, a lot of it goes over my head. But the idea of like coming up with something and then going, "Oh, is this possible?" and then creating it, so exciting. Like, I like doing things creatively in the physical realm, but with this kind of stuff, I can't. But that sounds like it would be a lot of fun to be coming up with an idea and then bouncing ideas off each other.
Yeah,
do you guys get
that's the
pissed and
process.
do it, or what do you do?
That's the process. We just like call and like normally chit chat about like things that are going on at the company, or production issues or inventory or whatever the fuck. And it's like, oh, and by the way, I had this idea, or just text each other, like on Sunday evening. It's like, oh, I was just thinking, if a guy just broke into my house this way, I could do this. Like, and it's like, okay, great. Want to hop on a call? Yeah. Talk for 15 minutes, write an issue, and let's try to get it done. That's pretty much the process.
I love it.
Some stuff, we're gonna do research, and some stuff we're gonna get like other like domain expert to sort of give an opinion. We're working on scrambling seeds now, right? So that you can have a non-descriptive seed plate, right? Where the seed on it looks like a seed, but it's actually not a seed. It's going to be, you're going to need to have another seed plate, and with some crypto magic, you put the two together. Now what's really cool is you have metal backup of encrypted data, right? That is human readable. So you can go and you can put the seed plates in places. Then if somebody finds it, it's like useless. You can even put some decoy funds on it. So you have plausible deniability. It's always about plausible deniability, right? Like, it's like creating a fucking labyrinth of features where like there is no amount of reading our docs that the bad guys will come up with what setup people have.
Speaking of reading your documentation pages, this is a true story. A couple of weeks ago, somebody DM'd me on Twitter, and they said to me, "Why did Coinkite sell dice? What are they for? Why would I buy some casino dice from a hardware wallet manufacturer?" To which, obviously, I went on to explain the reasons for that, and what would your sort of elevator pitch to that be in terms of why you guys sell dice and what they're used for in relation to cold cards?
Well, so we don't trust, verify, right? So the whole point was I do not want to have to trust a hardware wallet to do any entropy work, right? But I don't mind trusting the hardware wallet to do some entropy work. And it's very important to keep those two things in mind. And this is where a lot of people get lost. So you discourage the hardware wallet manufacturer to have any sort of a retirement attack or anything like that, right? If they offer an alternative to them generating the entropy. Because now you're just going to make sure that all the people that care about their money or whatever are going to probably do the entropy generation themselves with the dice instead of trusting. So you're actually amortizing the risk through the multiple varying options that you have there on the device, right? It's really cool. So it doesn't mean that everybody's going to use the dice to generate their keys, but they have the option to. And that sort of leaches a bit of trust into the other setup. But anyway, aside from that comment, we want people to not trust us and generate their own entropy doing the dice work, right? But us being properly lazy people, the idea of throwing dice 100 times was very annoying to me. So what we did is we found a manufacturer that would make the smallest dice they could possibly make that was still usable. So we make a little bag of dice that comes with 100 dice. So you only throw it once, and then you just sort of like go through them.
Okay, so the idea with the big bag is that you literally just rip the top off and just empty the bag, and they land where they land, and
that's it.
Cool. Okay,
yeah.
Sweet.
Is that no? But it's hard to convey how little they are. They're 5mm dice. So
shit, right.
yeah. So dude, like they are the size like when if you compact them in the bag, all the dice fit in the volume of a wine cork.
Fuck.
What? Say that again.
Yes. So the whole volume, okay, of the dice, like the 100 dice combined together are the size of a wine cork.
Wow, okay.
They're the smallest, cutest dice you'll ever see in your life.
Does it come with a magnifying glass?
We made sure they were high contrast enough.
Okay.
No, they're very legible. Like this is very usable. I should
I
actually.
suppose the interesting point about that is that once you sort of tip all these 100 dice out, is that there's almost an unlimited amount of ways that each individual, the order that they would enter those into the cold card as well.
Yeah. I mean, like you're not going to find a pattern there, right? And even all dice will have some bias, right? But even if they have bias, they're hitting each other. And it's 100 of them, so that there will be variance on the bias itself too, right? So, like, chances are out of 100 dice, how many dice have the same exact bias, right?
Well, that's cool. Looking at the photo, I never would have even imagined that they'd be anywhere close to that being that small.
They're so tiny. I have a bag in my hands right now, kind of playing with it. Yeah, they're awesome.
I wish I'd known about this before I had done my previous setups, because I've set up 3 cold cards now, and I've done it with a single die with like 200 throws every single time individually.
200 throws?
Yeah, and it was a long day. It was a really long, really long day.
Yep.
Yeah, but yeah, that is a better way. It sounds like it gives you probably better entropy, saves you a load of time.
Yeah, but honestly, even with biased dice, I wouldn't worry. It's just like the math on that just gets kind of stupid very fast.
It was a feature that I really liked. It was one.
Yes.
It was one of the things when, like, I was setting it up, and I remember doing it and thinking, I really feel so much more secure knowing that Rodolfo doesn't know what I'm rolling. I was thinking, like, so he could be sneaky and I wouldn't know because I don't understand the code. So you could sneak something in there, but you don't know the dice rolls. And
that's right.
Once I'd set that up, I'd sent my funds to Cold. I was like, I feel comfortable. Like, I sleep better at night now because of that feature.
But like, this is the part that, like, if you want to go for full paranoid, right? Like, now you have to trust that the dice are going to be taken in.
Yes.
Right. Yeah. So what's really cool now is, like, since version 4.0, now we have reproducible builds, right? So you don't have to trust, like, you don't have to know how to read code. You don't have to trust us. You just have to trust that there's enough people looking at the code, right? Because you can build from source and prove that the same build that you have is the build that you downloaded.
Yeah, Bitcoin Q&A actually on our last show was talking to me about this. I think it was in one of your recent updates.
Yeah. And another cool thing is, like, I personally, I mean, it is my device. I believe our mixing in dice inputs with our seed gen code is safer and better than just throwing dice, because we are XORing all this stuff together, provably, right? So, like, it's like, it really is next level entropy.
I just want to go back to something that you touched on earlier around. You mentioned, one about being lazy and another one about not having to trust you guys. I don't know whether it's a combination of the both or something completely different, but what was the reason that you guys have never ventured into creating like a companion desktop or mobile app to complement the cold card?
Well, a few things. So after we closed down Coinkite, the service, we told ourselves that we would never run a service ever again in our lives. It's like, we send you a device, we provide you warranty and support, but we would not be running anything that connects to it. We don't like the privacy compromises that come. So, for example, if you're running the Trezor software, you're like doxing all your UTXOs to the same people that ship you the hardware wallet. That's like stupid. and they encourage that, right? Because they make money selling you shit coins on the same UI. So like it really is not great, right? It's like it creates. Let me just backtrack a little bit. Like the purpose of the way Coldcard is built, aside from pleasing us as the makers, is to do Bitcoin the right way, right? Is to do Bitcoin the Bitcoin way. In the Bitcoin way, there's no trust, and you should force people to have some basic understanding of what they're doing, so that they're not trusting, right? And I think like Coldcard kind of strikes that balance well, right? It can feel a little complicated to some people, but then like, given 2 hours, they're all pros, right? But the thing is, there is no easy app. There is no Coinkite branded crap to sell you shit coins. There's none of that stuff, because we don't want to have any connection with you aside from the hardware we sent you, right? You now you create a much better trust minimization by using another vendor for the desktop wallet, for that app wallet, right? We don't have your full stack.
Yeah, it's like you said, it doesn't take that long. You do have to, there's definitely a bit of a learning curve. Like, you do have to have some responsibility, and I get that. I get why you make people do it, and I'm very grateful that I've gone through that process and I've learned from using a Coldcard. I've learned things that I didn't understand before, and I was a little bit nervous to start with, but now I do feel more comfortable because you know more steps in between, which actually makes you sleep sounder at night. And it's nice to have features even if you don't use all of them. I sometimes will just click onto your videos and go, oh, I'm going to learn how to do this today, or I'm going to have a play with this today, or I'm not sure about this. And having just those, and then all obviously the other guys like Q&A rights and everyone else, there's so much info out there that if anyone wants to use one of these, and they really are, they're the best thing out there. Like, I fucking love mine. I can't imagine ever using anything else again now.
It's hard, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't know why I would.
Stuff. They're not trying to do the stuff, right? Like, it's like they're still stuck in this idea where it's like all that they're doing is just trying to sign the transaction, right?
Mm-hmm.
In some sort of set of security compromises, right? We all have different ones, but there is no attempt at solving the actual fucking problem, which is, how do we prevent people from getting hit in the head, right? Like, to give away their BTC, right? Like, it's like, this is the problem that we're trying to solve, right? It's like to secure people, is not to like have a competing hardware wallet. So anyways, so that's sort of like where we're at.
So when Coinkite 3D printed guns.
Wow, it's complicated, right? We live in Canada. We have different. We don't have American. Unfortunately, we don't have American Second Amendment here or anything like that. So it really is for bears.
Yeah, same here, same as the UK. We're all cucked as well.
No, but we don't need, right? So the way we're trying to solve this problem is by just removing the violence out of the equation, because violence would be pointless, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I think we've already done some good dent on that, right? If your device is bricked, well, it's bricked. Like, yeah. I mean, like, listen, you can take my fingers off, but there's nothing you can do, right? And then we have now some more like insidious ways of breaking the device, where it buys you even more time, right? Mm-hmm. So we have the lockdown thing, that the countdown to brick. So it counts down as standard countdown, saying you cannot sign, right, for the next X amount of hours that you set it. But in the background, it deletes it erases your seed, or it bricks the device. I can't remember. Yeah, it bricks the device in the background. So then what happens is, the bad guy sees the device saying that. It's very plausible, right? The device is saying that because it's saying that. And then if the bad guy takes the device away with them, right, they can't do shit with it, because once the time expires, it's just brick.
So it just buys you that little bit of time, doesn't it?
It does, right? And like,
cool.
bad guys don't have all the time in the world, right? Like, time is against them. So we're trying to increase control in an attack by giving you time. And then we also have, all kinds of multi-sig features, right? Like, if you're not using the other wallets, the other hardware wallets in the multi-sig, we do quite advanced things, and they can all be done fully air gapped, right? And we also do lots of checks and all kinds of shit. But we're also like working on a next multi-sig feature where you're gonna. I don't want to talk too much until it's sort of like fully sort of like done and properly documented. But we're coming up with a better multi-sig solution. This is Coldcard only, right? You can't use multiple vendors because some of them don't even make their microSD card work. But aside from that, we wanted to make it super easy for you to multi-sig with yourself, right? Plausibly deny that you have full quorum, and allow you to also have things off site in a way that they are not exposed. So we're working on making both the multi-sig be able to be multi-site without fear of those keys being captured, and also the backups of those keys also being clear text but not usable.
Okay, that's interesting, and that's actively in active development at the moment.
Oh yeah, we're working on 4.0.3. I hope to have something like soon.
That's cool. That's cool. It was something else that was in version 4, I believe, which again is a home handle, is not one that I fully understood. And I thought, well, I'll take the opportunity to ask you to better understand it myself. Is that you guys implemented the same crypto library as Bitcoin Core now? LitSec.
Yes.
So what's the importance of that to the normal Coldcard user?
So it's kind of huge and not. It's exactly the same for people. Like as a user, it feels like exactly the same. But now you have the peace of mind that we are using the same exact library as Bitcoin Core for all the crypto. Right? So this is like one of the most reviewed crypto libraries that exist.
Okay. So it's like a peace of mind thing more than anything.
Yes. We gain a little bit more speed, and also there's a bunch of like new sort of security features and some that we might add that we need to also implement. But it's essentially like more security, more peace of mind, a bit faster, and there is no shitcoin on it. There's no even shitcoin relation at all on it. It's just Bitcoin. That's it. Another cool thing too is there is the experimental version of this library that has confidential transactions, that has like Taproot, that has Schnorr, like all that stuff, right? So
okay.
So it will be very easy for us to eventually add those features once they have PSBT support.
Interesting. So it kind of just brings you guys or what you're building upon more in line with core functionality.
Yeah, this is the way we like to build Coldcard in general, or all Coinkite products. It's like we don't deviate. We don't have our own BIPs with a different letter to denominate Coinkite or anything like that. It's just BIPs. And then because there is no point, right? Like you need to be compatible with base layer, right? So we're not going to invent shit that's not going to be to the spec of Bitcoin Core, because I want to peacefully be able to go away tomorrow and people still be able to function, right, with the devices we made. So it's all sort of like Bitcoin Core compatible, and we are always like reading and rereading all the BIPs available, trying to find more stuff to do. It's kind of like, PSBT was sort of like forgotten, right? And it's like best spec ever. Great, let's build a device around it, or BIP85 or whatever it is. We sort of like really like to have that focus on stuff that's already being reviewed.
It seems like some of your products are gaining some traction. You had some prime time appearance the other day with Jack, and I just wondered how that has
how that has affected sales, like what's happened. Are there more people going, what is this calculator? Like, how do I get my hands on it? I've seen this clock thing that shows Moscow time. Like, now how do I get these other products? Or is the world still asleep?
Oh no, I mean, like, so the problem is we don't want to grow too much, right? Again, like this is like, I want to run a business I want to work in, right? I don't want to be a slave to the business, and we can, like, production we can scale, right? I know how to do production, and we just keep on growing production as sales increase. But now, in regards to like product development and features, that's like more based on our preferences. So Jack is a real Bitcoiner. He's been in Bitcoin for a long time, and he's played with our products for a few years now, and he was really into the that I was not expecting for him to have that in front of in front of a hearing.
That was an incredible shill, an absolutely
That
incredible
was
shill. The
hilarious.
best product placement I have seen in, I think, forever.
I think
fucking amazing.
I think the better of it is the fact that, like, I think what truly made it like explode was that security guy saying that was the Moscow time. That really, because
He
like
was convinced.
yeah, exactly. Because like we would have gotten some exposure, right? Oh, look, there's a weird clock there, right? But the whole Russia conspiracy around it, I mean, that was just like, mwah. I mean, like, that was just beautiful, right? Like I mean, I don't think like my jaws were hurting that day of how much I was laughing of that guy, like fully pushing that, right? Like I just couldn't, like, and then we just like embraced it, right? Might as well just like build it into it. So now the block clock shows Moscow time. Why not, right? So no, I'm thankful that he had the clock there. It's a very obscure product, right? So it's fun that like people saw it. Sales are already pretty crazy for it, and the backlog was already huge. The sales on the 2 days post that were a bit crazy too, and now they're sort of like more in line with like the increased growth trend that we have in general for all the products. So like it's a little bit more manageable, which is nice. It's just buying more parts and making more as fast as we can. Same for everything we make. It's like it's nice. I mean, it's like there is other things we make, and they all sort of achieve different things, and I just happy that like people have fun with our products. They're like, they have some sort of like a character. You know what I mean, like they have some personality.
Yeah, I also think, like I said at the beginning of the show, it was a real debate. I was like, I don't know where to put Rodolfo. I don't know. Like, in many ways, I thought design, because I was like, there's a very clear design throughout all of your products, and it feels very cypherpunk, very raw, but it's also slick. Like, it has something about it when I have any of the products here, and I haven't got the Block Clock Mini yet. I haven't parted with my sats yet.
You will. It's inevitable.
Oh, I will.
Just kidding.
You're absolutely right. You and Rick from Crypto Cloaks managed to get me to part with my sats, and no one else does ever. I've never done it, but I will get one of those because they're so fucking cool. And there's this some sort of message that you're putting across with all of your design, and it's very clear, and it goes through all of the Coinkite products. Yeah, so in many ways, it would have been a feature for the design.
We draw most of the design inspiration from the actual. Everything is utilitarian, right? In our products, Coldcard is the size of a credit card, and it's a card, and the case is clear because you want to be able to see inside, and it's made out of polycarbonate, which is like 3 times more expensive than the other plastics that competitors use, but it's strong. It doesn't break, right? It's meant to be concealable. Like on Block Clock Mini, right? It's like you want to be able to see the stuff that's in there. It's like, it's Bitcoin is about transparency, right? Open Dime is the design that it is because it's like that's the way we could make it the cheapest but maintain the functionality, right? So it's like it's all extremely utilitarian. That's like normally when it comes down to the wire, and it's like if we're gonna make a decision either way with the design, it's always like pretty much siding with like the utilitarian choice of how the thing is gonna be. We just try to give it a little bit of a personality and add as much comedy as we can.
And the cold power, and yeah, I love it. Like I always feel like I'm some sort of like crazy cool hacker when I'm using them. I'm like, yeah, this is so good, and I love all the open components. I'll tell you what you should do is when Elon goes full Bitcoiner and starts fucking around with Doge, you should speak to him about this cipher truck or whatever he calls it, his pickup, and just say, come on, let us sort your interior, let us sort some of these components.
No, I like that car. So like, I'm not a...
It's cool.
Yeah, I mean, like, this is the first Tesla I'd buy. I like the idea, and apparently it's gigantic. I would like to drive that truck around, especially if it was an actual diesel engine on it. But I like the idea of a car that utilitarian that is also bulletproof. That sounds pretty fucking awesome. I mean, finally, it's like building a car for dudes. It's like, yeah.
This is what I'm thinking is the perfect fit. Is you need to say to him, look, we'll sort out the interior. So there's a special place for your Coldcard. You have like all your bits all set up there, and you do some of this design. It needs to be some sort of team up there so that it doesn't just look good from the outside and it doesn't just have bulletproof windows, but when you get in, you have your proper cypherpunk set up, and you can send transactions anywhere in the world, and you can have the Starlink set up on it. That would be the vehicle that I would pass the sats
My
with.
suggestion to him is that just use clear polycarbonate throughout all the panels. I want to see inside my truck.
I mean, the Cybertruck's electric, obviously. So I'm feeling some form of cold power / Tesla / Cybertruck collab. I think that's going to work quite well.
I don't know, man. Those trucks talk to the mothership, like it's like all the Teslas have that. I that's like one thing that's always kept me away from those cars, is that like the idea of my car needing like software upgrades. That I don't get to check the PGP key.
There'll be some black market out there that'll be able to. It'll be like a garage that you can take it to, and it'll rip all the brains out.
That's right.
I look forward to that. Yeah, it is a car that definitely, like, that's the one thing that takes me away from petrol and onto those. It's like those things would be sick. If what I think's comes, it would be nice to have something that's bulletproof.
Yeah, I mean, like, especially, I don't want to dox where you guys are at, but I think you guys have mentioned
dox
before.
Away.
No, like in the island you guys live in. That's a fucking island, right? There's no place to go.
I think anyone would know from our accents where we are.
I think we need a cyber boat, not a cyber truck.
That's right.
What's your thoughts on all that's going on then, Rodolfo? Because, security is your business. You're building all this incredible stuff. You were just saying, obviously, you're doing like home invasion stuff. And is some of what's going on around like the macro landscape and all this crazy bullshit that we see going on affecting the way that you're designing things or the way you're thinking about things? What's your general outlook on it all?
I don't know, man. It's like I grew up in Brazil, right? Like and especially when I was a kid, like kidnappings were like bread and butter, right? So I don't know. It's like to me, all this stuff is like a lot more toned down nowadays, right? Than like what I grew up with. So it's I mean, things. It's like having like Bitcoin is optimist, right? It's a huge optimistic bet on humanity. And it's also optimism for people who want to be more self-sovereign, more self-deterministic. It's like it's for people that want responsibility, right? Which is not the case for most people. I mean, that's something that we have to come to grips with. Like, I mean, remember, like politicians are just like a representation of most people want, right? Most people want money printing. Most people want free services and not like figure out that you have to pay for it. So politicians print. And I think that the West, like safe places in the West, will take a bit of a hit, but they will still be way safer than any other place. I find it hard to believe that Canada will be much more dangerous than the worst part of Toronto, kind of thing, right? It's like,
There's a killer virus on the loose, though. Have you not
right,
heard?
right, yeah. No,
You
I
need to be
saw it.
scared.
It bit a dog the other day, the virus. It's like, no, it's quite amazing. I mean, only 300 people died of corona in Ontario out of was it 14 million people since January last year. Oh, come on, right? No, that's below 60. Sorry, below 60. And then, maybe a couple, like maybe a 1,000 or so between 60 and 70 something. And then, and then 80 plus. I mean, that's where you have like 1,000 or 2,000 people who died. But like, these are retirement homes where like, these people are kind of already halfway there, it sucks, right? But like, it's not like, oh, hey, let's just imprison everybody else because, anyways, I get it. On the beginning of this whole thing, we don't know, is this Ebola like or not, right? People get scared, you sort it out, but then you move on. But anyways, it's pretty pointless.
It is what it is.
Yeah, no, the stuff is going to run its course. You can't argue, right? Half the population is scared to death. So like, it's, just fine. You know what? Print it away. Bitcoin and chill.
Yeah, if it wasn't for Bitcoin, we'd all be very, very worried with what's going on with those printers. But actually, at the end of the day, it doesn't really.
I mean, asset superinflation is happening right now. It's like, second homes are going for 100% asking here. Like, these are recreational second homes. In the middle, like, people haven't had a job for a year and a half. And they're buying second homes, right? It's like just record sales of cars. Okay, but this is the best part: record sales of boats in 2020.
Wow!
So it's like I don't know, man. It's fine, If that's what it is what it is. We're just gonna watch it from the sidelines, right? Like, what the fuck are you gonna do?
Keep your head down, keep building, and just watch number go up. I guess that's the way.
That's what we're doing.
It's going to eventually come to a head, and like I say, it's good to have that hope and optimism, and to be in this space, because what I found is quite funny is we're all on Bitcoin Twitter just laughing and joking and fucking around, making some money and watching the world change before our eyes. And everyone else is just sat there shitting themselves. And you look and you think, where would I rather be? Like, what would I rather be doing than be in this Bitcoin space and be with people who are like optimistic, saying, yeah, we can beat this. Yeah, we can change the world. We can fix the money. We can fix all these other things. We're going to make some cool shit and like just make our own economy, and everything else can just do one. What a nice space to be in and have that sort of energy around you.
Yeah, it's like, it's just so fucking awesome, man, to wake up and sort of like go shit post with a bunch of people who are optimists and have something to look forward in their lives. And like people who want work, people who want responsibility, people who want to fucking create stuff, right? Who care about the future. It's like, it's refreshing. And it's like, it's completely like intoxicating, right? Like, it's that's like, and that's the reality, right? Like for Bitcoiners, like, while, like you said, everybody else is like home shitting their pants, right? Like,
we're shit posting.
Yeah, but it's kind of like dealing with wounded dogs, right? If you get too close, they bite you. So it's like, okay, fine, it's like, have fun staying poor then.
One thing I wanted to ask you, Rodolfo, was unfortunately you seem to have been bitten by the same plague as myself in terms of domain hoarding. So I wanted to ask, how many domains have you hoarded so far? Because I think you seem to be worse than both myself and Mr. Odell put together.
Oh, you have no idea. And this is not a new disease. We, as a company, we have special pricing with a few different domain registrars, and I'll just leave it at that.
Wow,
it's pretty bad. To be fair, though, we have managed to sell a few that paid for pretty much everything else a few times, so it's not too bad that way. But if I had bought Bitcoin instead of domains, oh boy, it would have been a very different story.
You two definitely have a problem. You really have a problem. Can we talk in sort of rough numbers?
Oh no, absolutely not. It's embarrassing.
What about you, Q&A?
Less than 20. I'm an amateur.
Okay.
There's a couple of hodls in there that hopefully might earn me some Bitcoin in the future.
Yeah, I mean, at least I like to put them to work as memes. It's like a good domain troll.
I think I've lost you.
I'm still here.
Hello?
Oh, we're all here?
Oh, we're there. No, we're there. Yeah. Well, Rodolfo, it's been a pleasure speaking to you again. And like I said at the beginning, we absolutely love your products. I think everyone in 21ism has at least a Coldcard, some open dimes, and some other bits and pieces. And we just want to say thank you for creating this stuff. It's really, really cool. We're very proud to be featuring you. It is just incredible to have someone like you waking up every day and deciding, I want to just keep pushing this space forward and helping all of us secure our sats.
Yeah, man. Thank you guys, for like educating people and for like being awesome customers. I mean, that's the thing that gets not told a lot, is that like having Bitcoiners as your customer base. Like, we don't have shitcoiners. So like having just Bitcoiners as customer base, it's pretty awesome. It's like, people who care about the things they buy, and we have a lot of pride in that.
It's definitely the right move, and it just means that you get to spend the time with people you want to be. It's so much nicer than fucking around and arguing with shitcoiners. Thank you, and it was a pleasure to speak to you. And thank you, Q&A, for being here, for asking some of the more technical questions as well. That's been awesome. And yeah, like I said last time, I really hope that all of this Corona bullshit can do one, and eventually we can go for a drink or shoot some guns or whatever in the States.
Yeah, man, looking forward to it.
Yeah, thanks, Rodolfo. Really enjoyed this chat.
All right, mate. We'll speak soon. Thanks a lot.
Hey, dude, thank you. Take care.